prevent fraud, and foster trust in the market. But too much regulation could stifle innovation. It's a delicate balance.
Absolutely. But let's shift gears for a moment. We've been talking a lot about the tech and the finance, but what about the actual game itself? Is it any fun to play?
Right, because at the end of the day, Goat Tapper is still a game, and it needs to be engaging enough to keep players hooked if this whole thing is going to work.
That's a crucial point. Based on what I've read in the news articles and reviews, Goat Tapper seems to have struck a good balance between simplicity and addictiveness.
It sounds like those classic, tapping games that people get obsessed with, but with the added bonus of potentially winning real estate.
Exactly. They've gamified the whole experience, adding in things like missions, challenges, leaderboards, all those elements that keep players coming back for more.
It's smart. They're tapping into the psychology of gaming to make investing more appealing and less intimidating. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good competition?
Especially when there's real-world value at stake.
Yeah.
But let's not sugarcoat it. There's still a learning curve. You need to understand how to earn points efficiently, how to strategize for the auctions, and how to manage your GTPR tokens effectively. It's not just mindless tapping.
Right. You've got to have a plan. So what advice would you give to someone who's new to Goat Tapper and wants to maximize their chances of success in those goat drop auctions?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say, play the game, get a feel for it, experiment with different strategies, and see what works best for you.
Immerse yourself in the Goat Tapper world. Makes sense. What else?
Don't underestimate the importance of community. There are forums, social media groups, and even in-game chat features where players share tips, strategies, and insights.
It's like a collective intelligence network, helping each other navigate the Goat Tapper ecosystem.
Exactly. And that can be invaluable, especially for newcomers. Learn from the experiences of others, ask questions, and don't be afraid to reach out for advice.
So it's not just about the individual game, it's about the collective wisdom of the Goat Tapper community. I like that.
And don't forget about the research. Stay informed about market trends, property values, and the overall performance of the GTPR token.
Right, because even though it's a game, you're still making real-world investments. You've got to do your homework.
And finally, be patient. Building a real estate portfolio takes time, whether you're doing it through traditional means or through a platform like GoTapper.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. You've got to have a long-term perspective. But okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Are there any ethical considerations we should be thinking about here?
That's an important question. One potential concern is the issue of accessibility and fairness. Are these opportunities truly available to everyone, or do they favor those who are already tech-savvy and financially privileged?
It's like the digital divide we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And it's something that GoTapper needs to address proactively. They have a responsibility to ensure that their platform is inclusive and doesn't perpetuate existing inequalities.
Perhaps by offering educational resources, partnering with community organizations, or creating programs specifically designed to empower underserved communities.
Those are all great ideas.
Yeah.
It's about leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to benefit from this emerging technology.
Well said. Any other ethical concerns that come to mind?
Another consideration is the potential for manipulation or speculation within the GoDrop auctions.
Right, because there's always a risk of that in any market, especially one that's as new and volatile as the NFT space.
Absolutely. GoTapper needs to have robust mechanisms in place to prevent fraudulent activity, ensure fair bidding practices, and protect investors from market manipulation.
It's about creating a transparent and trustworthy ecosystem where everyone can participate with confidence.
Exactly. And that requires ongoing vigilance, adaptation, and a commitment to ethical practices.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. From the mechanics of GoTapper and the GTPR token to the broader implications of tokenization and the ethical considerations we need to be mindful of.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, to say the least. But the real test is this model sustainable? Are people actually using GoTapper to build real estate portfolios?
That's what I'm curious about as well. Are there any success stories out there that demonstrate the real-world impact of this platform?
That's a great question, and one that we'll delve into after a quick break. Stay tuned.
All right, so we spent a lot of time dissecting the nuts and bolts of GoTapper, but I'm really curious to hear about some real-world applications. Are there any success stories out there? Have people actually managed to, build a real estate portfolio through this game?
It's funny because the concept of playing a game to invest in real estate Almost sounds too good to be true.
Mm.
But from what I've seen, there are definitely some compelling stories emerging. Take, for example, the story of this group of college students who pooled their money together to buy GTPR tokens.
So instead of blowing their student loan money on pizza and video games, they decided to invest it in digital goats and virtual real estate auctions.
Exactly. And get this, they actually ended up winning a fractional share of a commercial property in their college town. They're now earning passive income from the rental income generated by that property, all thanks to their Go Tapper winnings.
That's incredible. It's like a real testament to the power of fractional ownership and the accessibility that GoatTapper provides. What's even more impressive is that they understood the importance of, like, collaboration.
Right. They recognized that by pooling their resources and strategizing together, they could increase their chances of success in those competitive Go Drop auctions. It's a classic example of teamwork making the dream work.
I love it. It's inspiring to see young people embracing these new technologies and finding, creative ways to invest in their future. It definitely challenges the stereotype of millennials being financially irresponsible.
It does. And it's not just college students. There are stories of retirees who are using GoTapper to supplement their income, single parents who are building a nest egg for their children, and even, seasoned real estate investors who are incorporating GoTapper into their diversified portfolios.
So it's appealing to like a wide range of demographics. That's interesting. It suggests that GoatTapper isn't just like a niche product for tech-savvy early adopters. It has the potential to reach a mainstream audience.
Absolutely. And that's one of the key takeaways here. The lines between gaming, investing, and technology are blurring. We're entering an era where financial literacy and digital fluency are becoming increasingly intertwined.
It's like the old saying, the future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. GoTapper seems to be accelerating that distribution by making these, complex concepts more accessible and engaging. But let's be realistic. Not every GoatTapper story is going to be a success story, right? There have to be some like cautionary tales as well.
You're absolutely right. There are inherent risks associated with any investment, and GoatTapper is no exception. For one, the value of the GTPR token can fluctuate, just like any cryptocurrency.
So even if you win a goat drop auction, the value of your fractional ownership could potentially decrease if the GTPR token takes a dip.
Exactly. And we can't forget about the broader real estate market itself. Property values can go down as well as up, and there's always the risk of unforeseen events like natural disasters or economic downturns that can impact the value of your investment.
So it's not a guaranteed path to riches. There's still an element of risk involved. And this isn't financial advice, obviously, but it sounds like diversification is key here.
Couldn't agree more. It's never wise to put all your eggs in one basket, whether that basket is filled with stocks, bonds, or digital goats. A well-balanced portfolio is crucial for mitigating risk and maximizing long-term returns.
Speaking of risk, one concern that comes up often with these new technologies is the potential for scams and fraudulent activity. Have there been any instances of that within the GoatTapper ecosystem?
Well, there haven't been any major scandals or widespread reports of fraud specifically related to GoTapper. However, there have been instances of phishing scams and fake websites impersonating the platform.
So the classic too good to be true schemes that plague any industry where there's money to be made.
Exactly. It highlights the importance of being vigilant, doing your research, and only interacting with the official GoatTapper platform and verified channels. If something sounds fishy, it probably is.
Always good advice. But let's shift gears back to the positive side of things. What excites you most about the potential of GoatTapper and the broader trend of tokenized real estate?
What I find most fascinating is the potential to truly democratize access to wealth-building opportunities. Traditionally, real estate investing has been a game for the wealthy, but platforms like GoTapper are breaking down those barriers, allowing anyone with a smartphone and an internet connection to participate.
It's empowering, isn't it? It's about leveling the playing field and giving everyone a chance to build a brighter financial future.
Exactly. And it's not just about financial gains. Tokenized real estate has the potential to increase transparency and efficiency in the market. Imagine a world where property transactions are streamlined, records are immutable, and ownership is easily verifiable.
It's about cutting out the middlemen and creating a more equitable and accessible system for everyone.
Precisely. And that's a future I'm excited to see unfold. But like any emerging technology, it's not without its challenges and potential pitfalls.
Right. We've discussed the regulatory uncertainty, the need for robust security measures, and the importance of addressing the digital divide. It's clear that there's still a lot of work to be done to ensure that these innovations benefit society as a whole.
Absolutely. But I'm optimistic. I believe that with careful planning, responsible innovation, and a commitment to inclusivity, we can harness the power of these technologies to create a more equitable and prosperous future for all.
I share your